They say New Year's Eve is a night for miracles, but for me, it was the night I almost lost everything. Was December 31st, and the city was buried under a blanket of white. I was standing in the middle of a crowded train station, clutching a ticket that was my only way home. My grandmother was celebrating her 90th birthday, and I had promised her I would be there when the clock struck midnight. But as I looked at the departure board, my heart sank. Every single train was cancelled. A massive snowstorm had paralyzed the tracks. The station was a sea of angry, shouting people. Everyone was stuck. I sat down on my suitcase, feeling defeated. That's when I noticed an elderly man sitting on a wooden bench nearby. He wasn't angry. He was just painting. He had a small sketchbook and was drawing the chaotic crowd with incredible detail. I walked over and asked him, "How can you be so calm? We're all going to miss the countdown." The man looked up and smiled. He had eyes that looked like they had seen 1,000 winters. He said, "Young man, the new year doesn't care where you are. It only cares about who you are when you arrive." He told me his name was Arthur. Years ago, on a night just like this, he had missed his own wedding because of a storm. He thought his life was over. But while waiting in a tiny roadside diner, he met a man who offered him a job that changed his life forever. He realized that sometimes, being stuck, is just life's way of redirection. As we talked, the tension in my chest began to fade. We shared a sandwich, laughed about the absurdity of the weather, and for a moment, I forgot about the cancelled trains. Suddenly, at 11:45 p.m., a crackling voice came over the loudspeaker. "Attention passengers, a single emergency shuttle has been cleared for one trip to the northern suburbs. Seating is extremely limited." The crowd turned into a stampede. People were pushing and shoving to get to the platform. I stood up, ready to run, but then I looked back at Arthur. I grabbed his arm, pulled him to the front, and handed the conductor my ticket. "He goes," I said. "He needs to get home." Arthur tried to protest, but I pushed him onto the bus. He looked at me through the window, his eyes wide with gratitude. As the shuttle pulled away into the snow, I was left standing alone on the platform. I checked my watch. 11:59. I stood in the silent, empty station. No party. No family. Just the sound of the wind. 3, 2, 1. "Happy New Year," I whispered to myself. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a video call from my grandmother. On the screen, I saw her, and right next to her, was Arthur. "He's my neighbor," she cheered. "He just arrived and told us what you did." Through the screen, I celebrated with them. I was miles away, but I had never felt closer to home. I realized then that a new year isn't started by a clock, it started by a choice.